So, actor, director, screenwriter, producer, known for his intellectual, deeply probing, and classically immersive acting, Liev Schreiber became known to a younger generation of audiences for his voice work in My Little Pony, Isle of Dogs, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, to name a few. You've received countless nominations from film festivals in a dozen countries, multiple honors such as the Tony Awards for your stage work, Spirit Award, as well as an IFF Lifetime Achievement Award. You've supported multiple charitable works throughout your life, such as Feeding America, and you are the father of 2 children. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. Hello. Shooting a movie here in Venice, and so I'm calling you from my hotel room. I know it looks like I'm in a birch forest, but I'm not. It's actually the very strange wallpaper in my hotel, so forgive me.
That's so funny. All right, question number 1. Selkirk Montessori School.
Hi, my name is Candy. I'm in grade 5, Selkirk Montessori School, Victoria, BC. Mr. Schreiber, how are you taking care of yourself these days, especially in the last year since the pandemic hit us? We hope you are. Sorry, that's it.
You're doing great.
So how are you taking care of yourself?
How am I taking care of myself? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought there was more to your question. That's a very, very good question. Well, it's actually been kind of great because I've got 2 kids, and for a really long time, we were all together in the house, which was great because I don't know, I love being around them. I think they're sick of me by now, but for the longest time, we were all together in the house, and it was really, really cool. And then I decided to take this job, and I was a little nervous about it because of the pandemic. But there are all these protocols that the people in the movie company have, which is that we get tested twice a week. We all have to wear masks when we're not working, and everybody around us wears masks, and we take the masks off to work, and we wash our hands a lot, and we're really, really careful. But I've been fine, you know. I've had some friends who got COVID who had mild symptoms, and I've had some friends who had more severe symptoms, and it's something that we really all have to still be careful about. But I think that's a great question, so thank you.
We hope you are happy and healthy every day. Thank you.
There's the end of your question. Great, thank you very much. Yes, I am happy and I am healthy, and yeah, I hope I stay that way too.
Thank you so much. Question number 2 from Belleuil, Quebec.
Bonjour.
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 Bonjour, Quebec.
So I'm Ariel J from Polybill in Canada, in Quebec. So, Mr. Schreiber, you have an incredible career as an actor, a director, a screenwriter, a producer, a narrator. What do you think are the qualities that have kept you motivated, strong, and successful through the years? Where do you find this amazing inner beauty and strength you party in your roles?
Well, first of all, that's very kind of you to say all those things. You know, when I was a kid, I was very, I don't know how to say it. I think it was like hyper focus. Do you know what that word means? Like, I was one of those kids who I was very good at focusing on one thing, often to the detriment of other things. But when I was doing music, because first I studied music, all I ever thought about was music. And then when I did sports, all I thought about was sports, 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 sports. And then when I started to get into science, it was like science, 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 science. And then when I found theater at the end of high school, really was when I first started studying Shakespeare and theater, it was all I could think about. And I think that maybe in some people, they would consider that a weakness to be so focused, like a horse with blinders. But it was useful for me. It was a characteristic that really served me well, that I really followed through on things when I was young. And the other thing that I have to say is that I've been extraordinarily lucky. This is a very difficult profession, not because acting and directing and writing is particularly difficult, which it can be, but because there's something like around 95% unemployment in my business. And so I'm very fortunate to be in that 5% of people that is gainfully employed. But I think for me it was like some, I have a dog who's a terrier mix, and he, when he gets a hold of a tennis ball, he hangs onto that tennis ball and he tears all of the fuzz off the tennis ball. And I think that I was like that as a kid with school, that I wouldn't let go of it until all of the fuzz was off the tennis ball. And I think that that's probably the thing that's kept me around in this business. I just never gave up, or I never took no for an answer, and I never thought that it wasn't possible. I just always believed that I was going to get there.
Actor, director, screenwriter, producer.
Madame, we can hear you.
That's really great. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Question number 3, Alvin Buckwell in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Hi, we were wondering, what is a role you particularly liked that made you grow in a way? For example, do you have a special love for Shakespeare, as you seem to have done a lot of work in connection with his work?
Yes, I thank you for that question. I do have a special love for Shakespeare, and the truth is, that's how I got started in theater, was studying Shakespeare. I used to read Shakespeare to my mom, and she loved it. And so whenever my English teacher would ask someone to read from the Shakespeare text, I would always raise my hand, because my mom made me think I was very good at it. Now, whether or not I was any good at it really wasn't important. What was important is to think that I was good at it. And so I did it a lot. I also think, having studied music, there was something about the musicality of language that always interested me. It's part of why I love language, all languages, the music of language, and the way that people speak to each other, the way that people express themselves, not just in natural language, but in song and poetry and in sound, is something that I've always really loved. And for me, Shakespeare was kind of the highest form of that I found in English. And performing those plays, because when we read them in school, they were very hard to understand, and not many of us were able to really make sense of them. So to be able to, when I was in high school, start to play those plays and make them make sense, and make them funny, and make them emotional, and make them transcendent, was really important to me. I think I also always liked old things. My mother was a big classical music. She loved classical music, and she loved classical theater, and she loved classical dance. And so I think I was always really interested in those things too. And I do think there's something really important about old things, old things are old for a reason. They've survived for a reason. They're still around for a reason. There's something special about them. For me, it's like the idea of a continuum. That is to say that human beings in 2021 are talking to human beings from the 18th century, and the conversation is essentially the same. And that thing of talking to each other and talking to ourselves is really what I think theater is all about.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Guardian Angels Elementary School, are you there? Are you with us?
Say yes.
Yes.
Speak louder.
Yes. Hi, my name is Erin. I'm in grade 6, and my question is, you've received so many incredible honors for your filmmaking. What would you say to young people who would also dream to pursue an acting career or work in other aspects of the film industry?
It's a really tough question because, there are a lot of easy answers to that question. But the hard answer, and I think the real answer, is to know yourself, to figure out what it is you want to express, to figure out why your contribution is unique, to figure out what it is that you want to say with your work to the world, to your family, to your friends, to everyone. Because I do believe that that's a big part of being an artist is having something that you want to share. And that thing that you want to share is you. So really making sure that whatever you're doing, whatever you're writing, whatever you're singing, whatever you're acting, whatever you're drawing is uniquely you. And because that's the piece that I think is valuable. And I think that's the thing that always comes through, if that makes any sense.
Thank you. That makes sense.
Yeah, and stick to it. It's not easy. It's something that you've got to keep working at. And I really do believe, and I know it's hard to imagine when you're young, because it was so hard for me to imagine, but you do get better every time you do something, and you get better and you get better and you get better and you get better. And if you stop when you're only a little better, there's so much further that you could have gone. So stick with it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Charles P. Hallen High School in Halifax.
Hi.
Hello, it's so nice to be meeting with you today. We have a question for you regarding mental health within people.
So for young people who may be suffering emotionally or mentally or may have abuse in their household, it can be an isolating experience during the pandemic. So would you have any messages or words of encouragement for those during these troubling times?
Well, there's a couple of things that you're bringing up there. One is for people who are struggling with the pandemic and being isolated, and then people who are maybe being victims of abuse. I think if for the latter, it's important to talk. It's important to find someone who you trust, a parent, someone who or a grown up that you trust, and talk to them and share what you're feeling. I think as far as the pandemic is concerned, that's been really tough on all of us. And I've got 2 kids, and having to do school online and having to be caged up at home, it's not easy. And the only thing I can say is that just know that we're all going through it, and that we're all going to go through it together, and that it will pass. It's just time. I also think that for my own kids, I keep remembering that this is their time. This is your time. And this will make you into the people that you will become. And I think just to remember that this journey is what you make of it. And been a really, really, really hard time for everyone. But there's also been some extraordinary things as well, like our ability to handle hard times, our ability to support each other. One of the things that was amazing to me about being in Venice through all of this is I got to see Venice empty. And it was so beautiful to see that city with that history and those canals and all those boats and nobody there. So I think make sure that you're talking to each other, make sure that you're staying in touch, and remember that this is your time, and make of it what you can.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I will play a video. Oh, yeah, from
Uh-oh.
China, because it's nighttime in China. We have many.
Oh, right.
One moment, please, and I'll play the question for you.
Hello, my name is Fan Chuxing and I'm a student at Alcanta International College in Guangzhou. What do you think about the responsibility of stars and global influencers to do their part in the world? Should young people be careful who they choose to trust and follow as their idols or role models? Who have you met in your life whom you feel that young people should research more and look up to?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I think we should all be careful about who we hold in high esteem, and I think we should research everything and know the background on everyone that we're following or listening to. I think that one of the things that's really important now is on the internet is to know what's a credible source on the internet. I think it's very, very important that we understand what's a credible source and what's not. As far as following actors and athletes, and I just come back to that idea of nobody does it like you. Really, nobody does it like you. So figure out how you do it before you waste too much time figuring out how someone else does it.
Thank you so much. This is one of my students, so you will come here and ask his question.
Hi, Mr. Schreiber. My name is Sebastian Mano. I first just wanted to mention that we actually have the same birthday, October 4th.
Happy birthday. Well, happy last birthday.
You've had so many influences and you've worked with so many great actors over the decades. Do you think young people should try to learn more about classical movies from the early days of the industry so that they can appreciate and love today's movies even more?
Well, my answer to that one, Sebastian. I've already said I love old things. I do think, I'm going to give you a secret about acting. It's stealing. I've stolen everything that I've ever done from somebody or something else. Some book I read, some person I met, some movie I saw, some play I saw, some dance, some ballet, some opera. And I think that the ideas that really stand the test of time are important. If an idea lasts 5 years, that's a good idea. If an idea lasts 500 years, it must be a really great idea. But that's just my opinion.
Thank you.
Robert Adams Middle School in Alliston, Massachusetts.
Hey, ciao Italia!
Ciao.
Hello, my name Bene. Hello, my name is Cynthia Texera, and I'm a French immersion teacher at Robert Adams Middle School in Holliston, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. Our classes have ended for the day, so I will be asking my questions on behalf of my students. Premièrement en français, and then in English. Le but principal du mouvement des jeunes citoyens du monde est venu du fait que nous sommes vraiment concernés par l'état de la Terre. Est-ce que c'est aussi quelque chose qui vous concerne? Des 17 buts de l'ONU, lesquels pensez-vous sont les plus importants en 2021 et aussi dans the entire global citizens movement is due to how deeply concerned we are about this. Is this something that out of the 17 goals of the UN, which goals do you think are especially important in 2020?
Well, 4 are pretty essential: no poverty, health, quality education. But I also think that if we don't pay attention to number 13, which is climate action, and number 16, which is peace, justice, and strong institutions, it's going to be difficult to have the other 4. Because it's sort of taking care of our home, taking care of our planet. And I really do believe that climate control is something that it's time for us to take a little more seriously, certainly in my country. And I hope that our new administration is on the. I applaud the UN for everything that they do in regards to that.
Great, merci beaucoup.
De rien.
You're impressing me, all of you. Okay. We have a First Nations school in Old Crow, Yukon. Chief Say Gitlit School for question number 9. Old Crow, are you with us?
Yes. Last week, National Chief Bellegarde of the Assembly of First Nations agreed to write the foreword to our upcoming book called Coast to Coast to Coast: How Children Came Together During a Pandemic to Help the Planet. Would you consider making a simple drawing or doodling or writing down a couple of sentences we could include in the book for the children to enjoy?
I'd be happy to. I'm not a very good artist, but I'll give it a shot. I've started sketching a lot because here in Italy, they make these incredible watercolor pencils, and I just bought myself a complete set of them. And they're kind of like crayons, but if you wet them, you can also use them as watercolors, and they're amazing. Not to create any expectations or anything, because I'm still pretty much a stick figure guy, but I'd be happy to try.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a school in France for the last question. Institut Marco Polo with my good friend Hubert Joby. And I forgot the name of your student, Monsieur Joby.
Hello, my name is Augustine. So I'm calling from France in Burgundy. So a lot of your recent work has been for your children, so they have more beautiful things to watch in the world. Do you have a final message for youth in North America, Europe, Asia, and the world?
A final message for children or my children?
All children. The first part was saying you are doing more things for children because you want your children to enjoy the beauties of the world. And do you have a message for all young people?
Well, to be honest, I played a lot of bad guys. And because I like playing bad guys. Frankly, I think bad guys are the most interesting roles because, like the good guy does nothing. He looks handsome or she looks pretty and they kind of don't do much at all. So as an actor, I don't find those roles very interesting. I like the bad guys. I like trying to figure out what motivates a really bad person. So when I had kids, I was like, well, I play a lot of bad guys in grown-up movies. and there's nothing really that my kids can see. So I'd like to try to get into children's things. And for the longest time, I couldn't. And then I started getting all these bad guy roles in animated things for kids, you know, like that crazy guy from the Pony movie and Kingpin and Isle of Dogs, which I'm actually very good at doing dog voices. And so I was really excited to get a movie where I got to play a dog. And the director, once I did my dog voice, he was like, no, I want the dogs to sound like you. I was like, I finally get a dog part and it's just me. So that was kind of disappointing. But yeah, I wanted to make things for my kids because I wanted them to see what I did and like it and enjoy it. And yeah, that's really it. I wanted my kids to be proud of me. I wanted my kids to know what I did. And a lot of the stuff that I'd done up to that point was sort of rated R. But my message to, I don't know what I would say that, geez, like I'm just an actor. I like really don't think that I am in the position to be making smart statements to kids. I think kids are so infinitely smarter than grown-ups most of the time anyways, because of their intuition. I think kids have a special intuition that as they get older goes away. So hang on to it. It's your instinct, it's your gut, it's the thing that you know. As like my kids, I watch my kids, they just know things. And I don't know how they know things. And maybe it's because I'm getting old. Like I don't know how the phone works anymore. I don't know how the computer works anymore. But I remember being a kid and I remember being, oh, I understand that technical thing. I understand that computer. I understand that phone. So I don't know if I'm qualified to, well, I guess, you know, the one thing is be nice. That's what I tell my kids. Be nice. Be polite, and don't be afraid to let people know how much you like them, because it really means a lot. It's really important. And I think that sometimes, you know, I see kids struggling with that. I see kids struggling with expressing to each other how much they like each other, and how, especially now, you know, when we're all separated by this terrible disease, you really get a chance to see how hard it is to not be around your friends. So it's important to let them know how much you love them, and it's important to let them know how much you need them. I think that's a really important thing. That's why I'm doing this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Harlander.
Thank you so much, Mr. Schreiber, for taking the time to speak with us today. This has been a great opportunity for our students, one I'm sure they will remember for years to come. We wish you all the best. Be well, be safe. Thanks again. Enjoy Italy.
Thank you all. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Au revoir, merci.
Au revoir.
Bye. Bye.